Hello there, Stevos. Welcome back to another episode of Steve's Movie Wrap Up. Watched 3 movies this week, 2 on Amazon Prime Video, 1 in cinema. So without further ado, let's see what movies I've watched this week in this episode of the Movie Wrap Up. You're watching Steve's Movie Wrap Up, episode 64, right here on my YouTube channel, SteveOfficial. The first movie we'll be reviewing in this episode is G20. So the first movie I've watched this week is G20, which I gave 2.5 stars over on Letterboxd. When terrorists take over the G20 summit, US President Danielle Sutton uses her governing and military experience to defend her family, fellow leaders, and the world. G20 was recently released on Amazon Prime Video around the world, and I decided to give this movie a watch on the day of its streaming release, and I could easily tell that this movie was made for streaming, although not all of the movie was bad though. Also, can I just add that this movie was also designed, I feel, to be released had Kamala Harris won the presidential election in 2024 and not Donald Trump. It just felt like I was in a totally different universe watching this movie, and that's coming from a guy who's not even in the US. So what did I think of G20? Well, the film does have a running time of 1 hour and 50 minutes, and I'll be honest, while I did somewhat enjoy the action scenes, particularly some of the action scenes we see within the opening of this movie, but I do feel like for some of the running time of G20, it did lack something. I don't really know whether it was the script/dialogue or whether it was the running time itself, but it did definitely lack something, and I'm really struggling to put my finger on what that was. However, though, Viola Davis does start in this movie as the President of the United States, and I will say she did a great job within the movie as well. Her acting as the President made it believable. It almost felt like she is the current president over in the US. Anthony Starr, the same Anthony Starr who plays Homelander in the Prime Video TV series The Boys, also stars in this movie. Like Homelander in The Boys, his character in this movie is the villain. I feel as though this was just Homelander disguised as some Australian guy with an Australian accent with blonde hair and a beard. Out of curiosity, is Anthony Starr Australian? If he isn't actually Australian, then gosh, he pulls off the accent really well in this and made it rather believable as well. Also, seeing Starr's character and saying that it reminded me of Homelander, just being under a disguise, also reminds me of another character that is always disguised in every season of a show, and I'm talking about Penn Badgley's character in the Netflix series You. 5th and final season starts soon, by the way. Is G20 a movie I can see myself rewatching and revisiting again? Sadly, I don't think it will be, unfortunately, which is a real shame. I think for me, this movie is a watch once and once only movie, but I do recommend people to watch Do I recommend people to watch G20, though? I think if you do enjoy action within a film, then sure, I'll recommend this to watch, especially as this is a new streaming movie. But if you don't enjoy action or politics for that matter, then I wouldn't waste your time seeing this film. G20 is streaming now over on Prime Video around the world. Carjackers. Next movie I watched over on Amazon Prime Video this week is Carjackers, which I gave 1.5 star over on Letterboxd. Are we about to make out? No. I'm about to put my mouth on your mouth is an actual line from this movie Carjackers, which is streaming now on Amazon Prime Video. Now, this movie is dubbed in English, but the film is from another country. Not sure which country, though. But saying that, though, the film was released about a month ago on Prime Video. What did I think of Carjackers? Well, given the title of the film, Carjackers, there wasn't a lot of carjacking going on in this film. I will say, though, that some of the locations that we get to see within the film is rather lovely and nice, I'm not going to lie. And also the luxurious hotel that we see the main lead characters work at looks really, well, luxurious and lovely. But speaking of the main characters or lead characters of the film, and they don't really have a lot of development. I don't know whether it was the running time that impacted the characters from being fleshed out and developed properly, but as a viewer watching this, I just didn't seem to care much about the characters involved in this film. Carjackers also comes with a rather weak script as well, and not Also, not only that, but it does make you question what some of the characters end up doing within the movie as well. It's a real shame because I was hoping this film was going to be good, but this definitely felt like a straight streaming movie, unfortunately. Carjackers is a movie that I definitely wouldn't be checking out, revisiting and rewatching again for a second time. So this is a once and once only movie watch for me. I wouldn't recommend this film to anyone, sadly. However, though, I will say there is a little bit of positivity though within the film, as there is a certain sequence at some point during the movie where we see a carjacking scene actually take place, and it's all done in completely one shot, which actually looks rather good. The running time for this movie, by the way, is 1 hour and 37 minutes, and I do feel as though this is a movie I can sadly easily forget within a couple of days of watching this. But Carjackers is streaming now over on Prime Video.
Drop.
And the final movie I have watched this week is Drop, which I gave 3.5 stars over on Letterboxd. Christopher Landon directed the movie Drop, and it's safe to say that I can definitely confirm that this is, in at least my opinion, Drop is most definitely not a flop. See what I did there? Well, as mentioned, Christopher Landon directed this film. Yes, this is the same Christopher Landon who directed Happy Death Day and the upcoming and rather controversial at this point Scream 7. Drop stars Megan Fahey, who, by the way, absolutely carries this whole film, just like Jessica Roth does in Happy Death Day. And she stars alongside Brandon Sklenar, who happens to be Fahey's character called Violet State. Sklenar plays the character of Henry, a photographer, is what he does as his job. The film in a way kind of reminded me of Unfriended, but except this was happening to someone whilst on their first date and being the only person knowing what's going on. I always like these kind of films, you see, where basically someone on the other end of the messaging chat or app or whatever it is the character is using wants to play a game with the other characters involved in the movie, but the person on the other end of the messaging chat or app or whatever wants to remain anonymous. I think Drop It, in a way, is not only a thriller but also a horror movie in its own unique way. I guess the horror being modern day dating, meeting people via dating apps and going on dates with them. After all, in the year 2025, everyone seems to be going on dates through dating apps, or as I have found recently, people seem to be connecting with one another via TikTok, which is weird. I never knew TikTok was a dating app, but every time I hear stories about that, I then start to class TikTok as Tinder. Anyways, going back to the review for Drop, and Violet, who has come out of a rather abusive relationship with a man who she shared a child with, ends up going on a date with this dude called Henry. Violet's child, called Toby, is back at home as her sister offers to babysit while Violet is on this date with Henry. You know how first dates tend to go. They can be quite awkward and weird and overwhelming. Well, this is how the date between Violet and Henry goes. However, though, this is why the movie is called Drop. Someone within the restaurant where the date between Violet and Henry is taking place ends up sending Violet messages and memes on her phone via AirDrop. For those who don't know what an AirDrop is, it's a feature on Apple's iPhones and iPad where you can send someone a photo so long as they are close to you, which saves, I believe, to that person's camera roll. Now, these messages and memes that Violet is being sent off aren't funny ones, they are serious ones. Threatening ones, if you will. She has to go along with what the anonymous person tells her to do, which does involve killing her date. But does she go along with it, though? You'll have to watch the movie for yourself to find out. However, though, the camera work in this is absolutely amazing, and the cinematography in here is also really, really good. Can I also say, when us the viewers see the text that Violet is being sent on her phone as well, they are so stylistic as well, which is also another positive thing I can add to this review for Drop. It's also, in its own way, a fun film for us viewers as we try to guess and work out who who we can and can't trust within the restaurant, as one of these characters is playing this game with Violet, and even she is trying to figure out who is doing this to her. The movie is mostly set in a single location, which is the restaurant. The only times we see the movie set in another location is at the beginning and end of the film, and may I add, the view from the restaurant window looks absolutely incredible, so good that I myself would like to take my date to this restaurant as well. And the restaurant itself as well looked absolutely incredible, rather posh and rather upmarket as well. Is Drop a movie I can see myself dropping back into and checking out again in the future? Most definitely it will be, and I will for sure drop Amazon some money to buy and keep the movie on digital platform later this year when the movie is released on digital. And would I recommend this movie for thriller fans to watch? Yes, and you know what? I'll even recommend this one to horror fans to watch as well. It's safe to say Blumhouse Productions were behind this film as well, so safe to say I can add this one to the list of my favourite Blumhouse movies as well. I know I said recently in a review for Novocaine that Novocaine has become one of my favourite movies of 2025 so far, but I think it's also safe to say that Drop has also become one of my favourite movies of 2025 as well. But Drop is currently showing in cinemas and theatres worldwide. And there we go, that is all the movies I have watched this week. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what movies you guys have been watching this past week, whether it's old, new, on streaming, on DVD, on Blu-ray, on VHS, or even in cinemas. Feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, if you are new around here and you like what you see, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below to become a Steve-O. Now, I will be back next week with another episode of the movie wrap-up right here on my YouTube channel, SteveOfficial, which will be Easter Sunday, the 20th of April, 2025, is when my next episode of the movie wrap-up will be coming up for you guys. And then on the 21st of April 2025 at 4 PM UK time, I'll be back with Steve's weekly vlogs, and of course them episodes will be uploading every Monday going forward from the 21st of April. Fingers crossed there'll be no more breaks, no more binge drops of weekly vlog episodes. Hopefully we can get back into that routine now of uploading an episode every Monday going forward. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. Until then, goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys again in my next YouTube video.